Bad Piggies was a spin-off physics-based vehicle creation mobile video game released by Rovio Entertainment on September 27, 2012. The game is a spin-off of the Angry Birds franchise, one of the largest mobile phenomena of all time about a flock of disheveled, non-limbed avians that need to protect their eggs from a group of green pigs. In Angry Birds, the birds use a slingshot to destroy the towers the pigs make out of wood, stone, and glass. However, in Bad Piggies, the player controls the pig's point of view, more specifically a freckled pig named Ross, who crafts vehicles out of wood, stone, and a collection of other materials to get past a level. You probably already know all this, but what you might not know is that a sequel for this game was planned. Not just that, but it's been planned at least twice. One from more than 10 years ago, and another that was actually released for a short time. Here, however, I'm only going to be talking about the 2014 game that never released, that nobody knows about. Without any further ado, here is the story of Bad Piggies 2. "2014 was the worst year Rovio had since they nearly went bankrupt in 2009. It felt weird. Rovio was a growing company. Shouldn't it be getting better and better? Well, no. Sure, they announced the movie, they had telepods, new episodes for their other games, and a grand new selection of games such as Transformers, Stella, and r/Angry Birds won't admit that this game isn't as good as they think it is, along with their new web game releases. But they had many more losses this year than they did wins. The year started really bad when it was leaked that the NSA used Angry Birds to spy on people's cellular activity, and it got worse when Rovio got sued by a toy maker and lost after a year-long legal battle for not originally owning the trademark Angry Birds. They couldn't even get much money out of their new games or merch because, frankly, there were none. Their old games, for the first time ever, began to slow in downloads, and their new games ended up being flops. One was cancelled after less than a single year, another ended up going offline forever a little more than 5 years after its release, and you know for a fact that Transformers is only still up because Hasbro still pays for the license and to update it. Meanwhile, Commonwealth only sold one single new set of 6 plushies that sold horribly, and Hearts was basically blacklisted from making plushies of the brand. All of this in-house drama ended up culminating in the loss of nearly 200 workers in the first half of the following year. In fact, according to Rovio's yearly statistics, the company went from having 800 plus employees and partners in savagely large amounts, whatever the hell that means, to having 470 employees and completely dropping the partners label in the span of 2 years. Yikes. Despite all of this, Rovio's team were hard at work to create new, fun experiences that will be remembered by kids and adults alike for years to come. And also Angry Birds Stella Pop. Sometime before 2015, in the midst of this chaos, Finnish Angry Birds Friends asset designer Maria Mustonen designed artwork for a game titled Bad Piggies 2. This game was obviously intended to be the sequel to Bad Piggies and took on some major differences in comparison. One of the more notable details is the design for Ross being more animated in an almost Disney fashion. This is the design used for the Angry Birds Toons television series released from 2013 all the way to 2016, otherwise known in the fanbase as the show with that one episode where Red and Chuck do anal. You know the one. This design, known as the Toons design in the fandom, basically replaced the original game design at that time, as literally every main series game used that style since the show's release in mid-2013. However, there are some other details shown in this artwork, like how the game would have taken place in space, similar to Angry Birds Space. This implies rockets could be built and fly through anti-gravity, maybe with some asteroids or space birds flying at you to immobilize you. Sprites were also made of the app icon, seemingly some kind of opening cutscene, some weird panel thingies that I'm guessing would have just been menu buttons, and a few card designs for some kind of gacha mechanic. This art was later posted on on Maria's ArtStation page in 2018 or 2019, and was then discovered initially by a Fandom user on November 4th, 2020. When asked via email, Maria stated that it was unused concept art, and she isn't sure of what their current plans for the project are. According to Maria's LinkedIn, she was also involved in 3D asset making for the project, though no art of which was ever released publicly. This art was to be used in the prototype for the game, a build that used Blender assets and the Unity game engine, like the original game. RuffleTV was a small sub-network from Rovio that was active from 2014 to 2017. It was kind of similar to Toons TV, but instead of cartoons, it had Bad Piggies related shorts like Dudeson's Special Vehicles, Meet the Rufflers, and Bad Piggies Kick-Ass Gaming Videos? Yeah, kick-ass. I have no idea what the actual fuck Rovio was on when making this service, but it clearly was not made by the normal part of the marketing team, or any ordinary person for that matter. One of the shows that the service held that actually was about Bad Piggies, other than the gaming videos of course, was The History of Bad Piggies, a 5-part series that acted as a Q&A that the developers of the game would take part of, showing some concept art and early plans in the process of making the game. This series is mostly lost, as only the first and the 5th parts have been archived. The first part was re-uploaded in its entirety, showing what the style and humor of the series would be like, but the 5th part only has its link archived, and while the video was archived on Angry Bird's Nest and has been on the Wayback Machine since 2015, there's no way to watch the video since it's been mysteriously privated. Trust me, I've tried everything I could. Why exactly have I, though? Well, this video featured a dive into production on Bad Piggies 2. Unfortunately, I have no idea what most was shown or what was talked about in the video, as again, I don't have any archives. However, I do still have 2 pictures from the video, one of a background asset being worked on, and another that is a very blurry image of gameplay, apparently. They also apparently teased the game at the 44-second mark of the 1-minute 15-second long video, and the video confirms the game was being developed in 2014, as the video was posted that December. I know of this from a series of messages by a now deleted Discord user who also posted the link to the video itself. If only we had the full video, or any others of the quintology. Having more behind-the-scenes Bad Piggies content would be such a treat. Unfortunately, Bad Piggies 2's original Maria Mustonen pitch has barely any public concepts to show, so we can't really see what the game was meant to be. Or can we? Okay, so get this. One day, as a lad does, I was looking up random crap on Google and looking at all the random pages that showed up on the first page of the All section. I saw a page from ArtStation which showed the date the art was published on the preview before you click the site. Since ArtStation itself doesn't show when art was initially published traditionally for some reason, and I wanted to know when the original Bad Piggies 2 concepts were published to the site like the autistic swine I am, I searched the title of the original project, unreleased project, and the author, Maria Mustonen. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, no, apparently. I didn't actually find the original date that the ArtStation page was put up, but, however, I did find a page Maria mysteriously never stated she had. Her Tumblr, more specifically, Pandafolio. I scrolled down through her most recent posts down to her earliest ones. The space concepts were actually reposted here, but something was off. They were posted here 3 years before they were posted to ArtStation. November 24th, 2015 to be exact, proving the account's legitimacy. After a bit more fiddling around, I found not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 10 new concepts for Bad Piggies 2's original variant. Take a look. It's obvious this is real and meant for Bad Piggies 2 from the get-go. Maria only specified she worked on the Croods, Angry Birds Friends, and the unreleased Bad Piggies 2 during her development time with Rovio. Obviously, this has no similarities to the first 2, plus is titled Unreleased Project, like how she titled the space art, and it's not like this is a game from another studio she worked at because the iconic green pig design and contraptions are shown at least once in each artwork, which are solely owned by Rovio, of course. There is nothing else it could be. So let's take a look, shall we? The game was going to not be exclusively space themed and would have had 4 episodes from the start: Pig City, Colbert Plateaus, Bone Road, and Rainbow Falls. It also would have introduced a lot more parts like a glider, iron boxes, glass boxes, chairs, big wheels, flashlights, which given the timestamp were probably new ideas at the time, and a bunch of baskets, including one that deadass looks like one of the rubber ones you'd find a Shopkin inside of. You could also jump over many objects like windmills, rock formations, smokestacks, trees, umbrellas, food stands, more food stands, and diabetics. We get a bunch of other fun stuff too, like cosmetics, which I'm guessing were to be the original loot crates, background art, and a preview of one of the 3D tests mentioned before. According to some Wayback Machine links to this site, this isn't actually Maria's art, and actually different concepts from other concept artists that Maria redrew over, confirming that there were other artists who we do not know currently who actually made concepts for this specific game. All of this shows how grand of a scale this game was going to be compared to the original game, and thus even more disappointing that it was cut from development. At least we know what this game was meant to be. If only we could see or even play the prototype. Of course though, that wasn't released, so we'll never be able to do that. Or can we? Okay, no, I'm joking this time. Sorry, I'm not a sorcerer, I can't do everything, goddamn. Anyways, I did try to reach out to Maria about anything else she might be able to talk about for the game to clear up some details. She didn't respond. But I think we've cleared it up enough. Now, there's still one big question. Why was the project cancelled? I'm pretty sure it has to do with something about the 2014 situation. All the garbage that happened that year probably lost Rovio some cash, and for some reason made them dead set on killing everything that wasn't the regular Angry Birds formula by 2015, probably trying to get all their money by overindulging in their most popular franchise, and only let some non-Angry Birds projects slide if they were already far enough in development to cancel, like Fruit Nibblers or Shakira Pop Love Bubble Rock Blast or whatever the fuck it was called. Think about it. Project Bats went mysteriously unreleased. Amazing Alex was removed that April. Stella was cancelled that June. Both Rovio Stars and LVL11, game company subsidiaries of Rovio meant to make non-Angry Birds games, made pretty much no games this year and were discontinued later on. And Bad Piggies 2 was first published as an unreleased, unmade project to Maria Mustonen's Tumblr that November.